I will abolish tax on bet winnings. This is what Mahama is telling the youth. And also, he's made a pledge that there'll be free tuition for university students in level 100. And so, let me start with you, Adjoa, on this one.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So this, it sounds exciting. This will definitely excite the youth base of the party. I'm just wondering how practical it is.
It is. David, thank you. But quickly, I would like to put it on record that although we've had this elaborate discussion on the Ejapade documents, Dr. Amwakon has not been able to deny the fact that the happenings in that document, or that if a group of people take over the electricity, the financial sector, the mining sector, the petroleum, which are very, very important to the economy of this country, then it does not mean they are not trying to capture the state. That has not been said. I think she said a lot about grammatical errors and tenses and things, but to the substance of that document, and I do not think
obviously
that, and I have already said that the authenticity, whether it is believed to be fiction or not, you cannot wish away the experience of the people on the ground.
Yeah, but when you say take over, if the government in power, they have to run the country.
Yes,
so
they have.
When you say take over, it sort of suggests, you know, some malicious, malignant
for something that was written.
But should a group of people, should a group of people, isn't good, as you're saying, that a president sitting will be able to make a deal of about 3.4 million to their daughter's company for it to provide spare parts for. Sorry?
Is that in the document?
No, I am just saying, that's why I'm saying that when you take the documents and you read, you look at your surroundings and the happenings, and then you apply to create intelligence, because you're not just going to take what is in the document and that is it. That is why we are human beings. And so she has not been able to dispute the fact that some of these happenings, which are the lived experiences of the people, which we have seen happening, are not attempts to capture the state. It was just the issue with the grammatical and the dates, and it still doesn't take away from the reality that we experience.
That's the crux of
then I will move on to the Youth Manifesto, which I was personally present on that day. It was Saturday. It was exciting. And on this note, I would like to commend our youth organizer, lawyer Giorgio Pariado, and his two deputies, Madam Mrs. Ruth Sedo and lawyer Osman Ayariga. Also the Youth Manifesto Committee and all the young, brilliant people who came to put their talents to bear. I don't know if you watched it. It was spectacular. Now, I would like to say that although the free tuition policy or no fee stress policy has taken has gone ahead of all the other policies, it wasn't the only policy that we explained or that was put in the documents. So we had the 24-hour economy, which is seeking to create jobs for the teeming youth of this country. And we all know about the Ghana Statistical Service reports that informed us that close to 2 million youth in this country are without jobs, are not in school, and are not in any form of training. And that is worrying, and is a source of a security threat to us. And so all of this has gone into His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wanting to bring on board the 24-hour economy. And at the program, the young lady who came to speak gave a very simple explanation, and we call it Formula 133. 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Simple. The other time I met Dr. Amwako, she said she couldn't understand until a butterfly candidate explained to her. So for now, she says she understood it from there.
Say that again. 1 job.
1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. So Formula 133. That's a 24-hour economy. And then upon that, we have the National Apprenticeship Program, which His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says is going to enroll young people into to be trained by craftsmen, so that in the end, we'll be able to support them with capital and some equipment. We also mentioned the Ejumera program, also creating jobs, and then the 1 million coders program. So quickly to the no fees stress. So this policy, I know, was in our 2020 manifesto. So it came about as a result of the kind of stress that citizens went through during the COVID challenge, when this government had obtained so much money. Looking at the Auditor General's report, about 21 billion, which I believe has even been watered down. And they claim to have used about 11 billion as budgetary support, and it was fraught with a lot of corruption. The ordinary Ghanaian was not cushioned. Many people's businesses has gone into distress. And so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and you know, before we do our manifestos, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama goes on tours. We went on the listening tour before the Building the Ghana We Want tour. And listening to the people are still in distress. And it is quite difficult to obtain a student loan when you are not a student. Because the allocations and disbursement is done upon statistics, the number of people who have been able to obtain admission. That means that you must have been in the school, because we cannot just do the allocation based on the number of people who have written WASI.
Yeah.
And so it makes actual sense. Now, the problem has become that it has become difficult for people to even get the first support to enter tertiary institutions. And so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is saying that when he becomes president in 2025, January, he's going to ensure that people who complete high school are able to enter into the universities without having to worry about tuition fee, which he calls the academic facility fee. And so this is just for level 100 students. And I've seen, since the policy came out, or we announced the policy, I saw a statistics being done by EduWatch, which was very instructive. You talked about practicality. And so per EduWatch, about the number of people who are enrolled into universities per his average, and if we're taking all their costs with the tuition fee, we're going to spend about 270 million Ghana cedis, which I think that is very good, because now we are going back to the data, the reports by Ghana Statistical Service. If we have all these young people on the streets who are not in school, who are not having jobs, whereas we are creating jobs on the side with 24-hour economy, 1 million coders training them, national apprenticeship program training them, we will also be able to allow people who are not able to enter school due to financial constraints to be able to have access to the university education, and when they get in there, they continue with the Student Loan Trust Fund, sponsoring their education.
I think if you just wrap it up for me, the big question that people have, and I have, is when we see sustainability, we're looking at, after first year, what then happens? Because you've brought all these people who couldn't otherwise have afforded to come to school. They are now in school, they've done first year, they're going to second year. What happens to them? Because the economic turnarounds of people, it's not magical. It's not going to happen overnight. You know, so you have a whole year. Are you expecting them to have saved enough to be able to pay for the second year? Or are you hoping to graduate the free education to the next year? I want to understand what the idea is. What do you do when the people finish?
Okay, so David, I would say that this idea of making tertiary education progressively free is actually a constitutional provision under Article 25, and also under the Directive Principle of State Policy. Now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has explained that now we will talk about financing, because now we have a government that has not set its priority right, has invested money into the wrong areas of the country, which is not yielding much. And if we want to talk about a person who has set up funds, or these funds that are supposed to act as cushions, we can talk about the creation, the exam, how do we call it? The ESLA fund. And we've created similar funds like that. But beyond that, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama points us to budgetary allocation of government. And I have some here. From 2015, when NDC was in power, we were doing about 453 million budgetary allocation to government. Now, from 2017, we jumped to 1.5 billion. And we've gone to 1.9 billion. Even at some point in 2022, we were doing 3 billion. Okay. And so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has said that in relation to his idea of cutting down the government, the number of ministers and budgetary allocation to the government machinery. This is something that we should be able to do for the youth of this country.
So basically, we'll save money by reducing expenditure.
Reducing expenditure. Yes, because it is very important to invest in the youth, in the life of the youth of your country. Yeah, because.
Then quickly talk about the abolishment of tax on bet winnings.
Yes.
What's the idea behind that?
So I think it all drives into the issue of this government not being able to create sustainable jobs or better jobs, and this is evident in the unemployment rate we are seeing now, from 8% to about 14.7%.
Most places in the world where they do betting, they tax your winnings.
Yes, but the betting companies are being regulated by a body, and these bodies are already paying tax to the government. And so this, after listening to some of these people in government, they are saying that these taxes are supposed to be punitive, to be able to, like a sin tax, to be able to defer the youth from betting. But the truth is that you have not been able to create sustainable jobs for these youth. And they have been, some of them have gone into betting because it is their only source of livelihood. And I do not bet, but from the explanations I get from the boys, when we went to the Bukom Arena, I was among the boys and then we were talking. So they are saying that, Ajwa, if before I bet and I win 1,000 cedis, I must have lost a lot of money. And when I bet and I lose, government does not give me any money. Now I get my small money and then bet 500 and then they put their tax on it. And so how do you tax, how do you not create jobs for the youth? You collapse banks that were employing them, and then you go ahead to tax the betting that they are using to hustle. So I think it's good news, and it's well received by the young people on the streets, as I have experienced.
All right, okay, thank you. Okay, yes.
Let me just, no banks were collapsed, please. Let's stop peddling that falsehood. No banks were collapsed. 5 banks were put together to form CBG. CBG is doing absolutely well now. They are posting profits. When they were individual banks, they were all negative. Some of them, capital adequacy ratio was about minus 80%. It's a sin to even try and think about that. No banks were collapsed. Let's put that there. It was NDC.
Well, the banks didn't exist as they did before.
But no banks were collapsed. If you were a depositor of Beige Capital, you can go to CBG now. You have access to your money. So you can't say any banks were collapsed. The system was just sanitized, and it was absolutely necessary. She was able to talk about the jeopardy. I'll talk about it under 1 minute. The crux of the matter, the point I was trying to make is that something was written in 2020 about events that happened between 2017 and 2020. So for you to say, I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's things that have supposedly happened. They put it together and then they want to come in and sing it to us because they have nothing else to tell us. It's very clear, even from their youth manifesto yesterday, it's absolutely clear the NDC is in chaos and they are actually campaigning for us, the MPP. I'll explain. So one of our flagship policies as the MPP is the free SHS policy. Everybody knows it. Even a child in Ghana, if you ask them who brought up the free SHS policy, they know it is Nana Akufo-Addo of the MPP who brought it up. John Mahama met the press and confidently, very boldly, I was so surprised on that day, tried to claim that policy, proving everybody right that the free SHS policy is a game changer, is here to stay. It's something he has to ride on the back of if he expects to ever lead this country ever again. Unfortunately, that is never going to happen because, I mean, the way that he's displaying an absolute lack of know-how on how to run things. You talk about the free SHS, another game changer which has helped this country. It was also implemented by President Kufuor. There's no doubt. They talk about Nkranza community scheme, blah, blah, blah. Those were all private schemes. If you want us to talk about that, we can talk about that. Now let's go into their manifesto about, what do you even call it? No fee stress or something funny like that. First, you see, it's become a habit of the NDC to just sloganeer and they can't even explain it themselves. That's why I say it's a party in chaos.
So they accuse you of the same thing.
No, how? Well. But when we sloganeer, we do it all. We've been shouting free SHS for years and secondary education is free. That's all it's about. There was no confusion as to what free SHS is. There was no confusion as to what it entails. But everything the NDC brings up, there's confusion. They can't explain it. Let's even leave this 24-hour economy she was talking about aside, where everybody's saying something. We don't know if it's Wachi at night. We don't know if it's the lions from Pudon. There's confusion everywhere. Let's come to this no free stress. It's like a tongue twister. So President Mahama says that the academic facility user fee will be funded through enhanced student loan system. That's what he said, no?
Yeah.
So in nowhere did he say that the whole level 1 tuition will be free. Because if you look at a bill, university bill, we are all, you know, pretty young. It's not too long ago that we left university. And I have a freshman university bill here if you want to look at it. The academic facility user fee is just a small item on the bill when you are going to university as a freshman. There are residential fees, there are SRC dues, there's lab fees. Let me even find it for you. So say for my course of medicine, right, the academic facility user fee is 700 cedis out of the total bill of 3,800. So you are not paying all the fees if you are saying you are going by what their flag bearer said. And if it's going to be funded through the student loans, they should let us know what is the policy. You see, this is the confusion. So that if someone makes a mistake and votes for them and they are elected, then they'll come and tell you that that's not what we said. Because Sami Gyamfi is out there saying that level 100 is free for everybody, categorically, flat, like that. The flag bearer is saying the academic facility user fee is going to be funded through student loans, which is which? Then the head of policy, Dr. Peter Boama, is also saying that the academic fees are going to be sponsored through an enhanced student loan trust fund. Maybe Akusia can help enlighten us on what the policy can actually enlighten us on what their policy actually is, because again, it's a party in chaos and they can't seem to even explain something that they just said yesterday. There's never a time where there's like a unique singing voice of the NDC all dancing to the same drum, because they want to confuse the populace. That's all they are good at. So that by chance, by a big mistake, if they are ever elected, they can come and tell you that, oh, we didn't say we are going to make level 100 free. This is what the flag bearer said. Sami Gyamfi will come and say that's not what he said. Now, it's extremely hypocritical on the part of the NDC, a party that has fought against the free SHS policy for so many years. Now want to ride on the back. So the kids that you didn't want them to go to school, you wanted them to wait at home for you to build classrooms and what's not. 200,000 every year. You know, since we implemented free SHS, the enrollment doubled essentially. So 200,000 people that were sitting at home now go to school. They've been able to go to school through the free SHS policy. It's as university that you want to pay like less than 30% of their school fees through a student loan without even explaining that to them. Is that what's happening here? No, the people of Ghana will not be fooled. I think it's the NDC party that are gaslighters in chief, because they throw this out there hoping that people will not discern. But this is 2024, and we will ask questions and we will go through them and we will try and expose what you people are all about. Because I mean, I'm confused. Like, help me understand which is which. Are you going to take the school fees away for all tertiary students? Does that include the polytechnics? Because I heard their youth organizer saying that
they said for all tertiary students.
Oh, there you can check. The youth organizer, Opariado, said that the technical universities are not part. Is that not tertiary, or they are not as important? Is that what
Pablo said?
Yes. Ajo, am I wrong?
I didn't hear.
Yeah, he said that technical universities are not part.
Yes. That's not true. Oh, it's fake. That's not true.
That's what is making rounds on social media.
No, that's
so
not true.
What I'm asking is that
and JM himself has explained it.
That is it going to be through an enhanced student loan trust, or is it free? If it's a loan, the students after first year, they are going to second year, third year, fourth year, they are still not working. How are they supposed to pay the loan?
Yeah. No, but okay, so
so you have to make it clear to us which is which. And then onto the issue of bets, and this whole idea of NDC making promises is nothing new. It's something they do all the time. And it's always on the back of something maverick that the MPP has done. We remember in 2008, after the great success of the NHIA, they realized that without the NHIA, it's impossible to convince Ghanaians to vote for them. So John Mahama comes out to tell us that he's going to do a one-time premium. You pay one premium and then you're not going to pay again till you die. Then fast forward, he comes into office, and no, the NHIA is even on its knees, is in shambles. It doesn't. Some hospitals are even refusing to see patients on NHIA, and he doesn't do this one-time premium. So how do we believe him now when he says he's going to do, whether it's through a student loan fund or it's going to be free? Onto the issue of the abolishment of the tax on bets, I think it's part of Dr. Bawumia's 70-point agenda. And it's very important to note how a lot of things that the NDC bastardized, they managed to put it in their manifesto. I don't know if you saw the part of the credit score system in their document. That's not fake, Ajwa, is it? They talked about it so much. You know, and something that was truly maverick. That's how the West operates. Every forward-thinking civilization tries to incorporate some, like a system of, a system where you can survive on credits, isn't it? So when we are trying to bring a credit score system so that everybody will have access to credits, it's not just for phones and all of that. Businesses, if you are a small-time entrepreneur and then you are credit-worthy, you have access to funds.
Quickly tell us about your MPP launch, manifesto launch on Sunday.
Great. So the MPP is meeting in Takrady at GSCS on Sunday to launch our manifesto. As the forward-thinking party of this country, we are very glad that we are all meeting on Sunday to launch our manifesto. It's something that everybody should watch out for. There will be no confusion in our policies. We will explain them properly to you, and we will definitely implement them when we are elected December 7th. So if you look at the system the MPP has been running from the start, we started with a lot of social intervention policies. So we've done the NHI, we've done free SHS to bring everybody up to a certain level so that in this country you have access to education no matter your financial status. You have access to some healthcare no matter your financial status, so that everybody is able to achieve what they want to achieve. So now after getting there, we are moving into an era of jobs and businesses. So I think we are going to see a lot of focus on this, on our manifesto, really directed at creating jobs for the youth, making the business environments very sustainable and comfortable for the businesses to thrive, so that they can employ more people. And then that's the great agenda of the MPP to move Ghana forward.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Oh yes. So I would like to say, since we've all been students, we all know that what makes a person a student is actually the academic facility user fee, your tuition fee. If you do not pay your tuition fee, the other costs are ancillary. And what makes a person a student is actually the tuition fee.
The universities don't actually pay tuition fee.
And that is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is planning to take out from the students from paying. And
with the mind of making it stress-free.
Yes.
For them.
For them.
But if it's ancillary but a necessity. All the others are ancillary, but they are a necessity for you to exist on the campus.
Yes, but what makes you are not able to qualify for student loan if you're not a student.
Okay.
You get it. So first, what makes you a student is the fee that you pay, which the government, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to form in 2025, is going to pay for students. And the rest of the years, you will be qualified for the SLTF. That will be rolled out on campus. So students will still be able to have access to education. And it's this student loan trust fund is backed by law. You don't start paying until you have employment and you begin to pay. So there's the question of how the students are going to survive after they have been put into the university is neither here nor there. Because then what would we rather do? Leave the students and keep the data at 2 million youth still being on the streets and not having jobs, not being in school? But there are some people that if you put them in level 100, they will be able to access they'll be able to access, but we are going to put them, we are going to make them student first to be able to qualify for this student's loan. And the issue, you know, I have made a personal promise to myself never ever to engage in the enterprise of trying to banter with
an
NPP communicator about how free SHS began and whether it's progressively or wholesale or whatever. I will not. Because we all know that although it was popular and Dr. Marcus sought to create the impression that the free SHS has brought about an increment in enrollment, and so to not waste your time, I would just entreat her to go back to the analysis made by Simon, what's his name? The leader of this CSO, Bright Simon.
Bright Simons, yeah.
He's done some very good analysis of enrollment and made a comparative analysis of enrollments between 2011, 2012, and when the free SHS was implemented, and the number of students who still drop out and who are still not able to enter into senior high school. So that is not true. It is never true. And when you come about sloganeering, I mean, we have one D, one F, we cannot see the factories. One village, one dam, we cannot see the dam. One constitution, one constituency, 1 million, we are not seeing the money.
Okay.
Plenty slogans, we are not seeing the money. About their launch of manifesto, I know that we announced first that we were going to launch our manifesto in August, and then quickly they set a date for it. But I know for a fact that when you are headed in the wrong direction, speed is not an advantage. So they can go ahead. I don't know what they are going to tell Ghanaians, again, because they're already in power and they have failed woefully. Okay. And so we are looking forward to hear the same. I don't know what Dr. Bawumia is going to promise Ghanaians again, because we have seen how he has failed on the economy.
All right, okay, thank you very much. And since it's your first time on the set, you have 30 seconds as a final bite.
It's on record that enrollment increased after free SHS. You can go to the Ministry of Education. Everybody, RTI, you can request the information and you'll get it. I mean, I just got lost in what my co-panelist was saying. Again, NDC, a lot of words and not much to come out there. Right. One thing she said was tuition. University tuition, it is free. It's covered by the government. Academic facility user fee is absolutely different. I gave you figures. For medical school, where the school fees, total school fees, when you are non-fee paying, is 3,800. This academic facility user fee is only 700 cedis. Right. So where should that person get the rest of the money from?
Thank you very much, Dr. Akua Amwako. And we've been speaking. Thank you very much, ladies. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
So I've had this morning on the set with me on the news review segment, Dr. Akua Amwako. She is an MPP communications team member, as well as Adjoa Ejapoma Ansong. She is a member of the NDC communications team.